Alright, so I got the pilot bag out of the freezer. As you can see, it's out of the freezer. And I'm about to stick it in there. I have no freaking light. What's this? Oh shit. Just kind of like tap it in there. Well, I didn't get that on video, but I put the pilot bearing in the freezer. I cleaned the orifice around inside there, and just tapped it in there. As you can see, it still looks. I think it's sitting. I'm pretty sure you see it flushed already. Yep. Alright guys, so this is the stock clutch that came off the LS3. As you can see, this thing was definitely on its last leg. Yep, he had to come out. And this is the new clutch that's gonna go in the car. It's an ACT clutch. There's the not the brand, but the whatever. It's the T2S-005. It's a twin disc. And here's the instructions that come with it. Basically, right here on this section, just tells you how to take it off, how to take the pressure plate off, and separate it from the flywheel, how to clean it, and whatnot, and how to install it. And it also comes with another set of instructions on how to, if by any chance you drop the or lose the shims, tells you how to shim it and how to check to make sure that it's right. It's got the card right here. So go ahead and take this off and try to get this on the car. These are the specification cards, I believe. It just tells you right here the spec 1.2, whatever. It comes with a bunch of shims somewhere. I don't know where they're at. All right here. It comes with alignment tool and shims. And I don't know what that is. But yeah, that's it. Alright guys, so I ordered brand new bolts. 6 total bolts for the flywheel, which totaled around $40-something, $43 shipped. I was gonna use the same bolts, but I just wanted that peace of mind of having having the bolts new. And plus, I've already reused them once, so they've been off and on once already. I'm pretty sure you can reuse them again, but I was looking at the head of the bolts right here, and I'm just not trying to risk having one day having to do this again and one of these bolt strips, because if it does happen, then these are good. This one's good. Then this one's the one that's I just don't want it to ever strip on me, so I figured I'd just buy them new. So okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. I got some acetone that clean the plates and stuff like that, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it off, clean it up, and try to get it on the car, so that hopefully I can have it on the car, and by running, I could have the car running by the weekend, if not Sunday or Monday, one of the two. So because this clutch is new, it's already been set up. So all I have to do is just disassemble it, clean it up, install the flex plate, the flywheel actually. All right, so I got the clutch apart. I'm gonna get me a rag and clean the face off of that and clean this up, and we should be straight. All right, guys, so got the disc, got the floater plate. It's torqued down. So far so good. Can't complain about anything so far. Everything's been coming out pretty decent. One thing that I know is gonna be a little pain in the butt is getting those bolts, flywheel bolts back on there, especially that one at 12 o'clock. Other than that, you know, it should be, everything else should be pretty smooth. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this other disc back on there and get everything torqued down before I call it a day. Clutch. I got the belt housing on there. Got all the bolts tightened down. Now I'm on this the slave. Take the slave cylinder off and do the speed bleeder. Put the install the speed bleeder hose to the new slave cylinder, and then I can probably, hopefully, on a different day, start putting this thing back together. But the hardest part about putting this belt housing on there was, again, that 12 o'clock bolt. I think I spent about 40 minutes trying to get that bolt on there, but once you get that one on there tightened down, the other ones are a piece of cake. And I'm gonna go ahead and got some heat in here because I can't do anything if I ain't got no heat, man. I ain't working on the car if it's cold. And let's see if I got, yeah, I got all the bolts. Have all my bolts there that I bagged up. It's very, like I said, is if you're gonna take your car apart and whatever, have it apart for a few days, longer, a week or so, you're better off labeling your bolts and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this straightened out. I've already broke this loose, so take this one off. And this is the one that is gonna go, this is a new one. Oh, let me get this on there real quick. And all right, guys, I'm gonna start a new speed bleeder on the new slave cylinder. I've already had this broke loose, so I'm gonna put that to the side. And this is the new one. I think it's a 11mm wrench and they're adjustable. Get it on there. Actually, hold on, undo this right here. That down. Then do the hose. Get it adjustable. That's it. That's how easy it is to do this. Might have to. That's it for you. I'm gonna go ahead and take the slave cylinder from the torque tube, and we can start making some progress. Loving this thing. Huh. Bro, like I'm so scared to do all this and for the torque tube to fail on me. But I'm not taking this apart. I'm not taking it apart. I'm not gonna bother with it. And if I have to rebuild the torque tube, I'm just gonna go ahead and drop it. This, removing this, dropping the suspension, all that was 100 times easier than messing with that bolt at 12 o'clock. So I'm not gonna bother with it. I'm just gonna go ahead and get this out the way and put the new one on there. So we're gonna put the new slate cylinder in with the new with the remote speed splitter hose along with Alright, so we got the new slate cylinder on there along with the speed bleeder. Now we're just gonna put the bolts back on there and tighten them down. I think it's tighten them down. I believe the specs on the torque specs on this thing are like 6 pounds. So go ahead. They don't go very tight on there. So go ahead and just check the torque specs on this thing and call it a day. Yeah. There we go. 5 pounds, 6 pounds. That's it. Alright guys, so because I'm basically doing this alone, and even though I got 2 transmission jacks, I still believe that you still need some kind of help to get this thing to move. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the torque tube off from the transmission and do the torque tube first, and then do the transmission last. So hopefully that'll make it a lot easier on me. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and I'm pretty sure I get this knocked out a whole lot quicker versus me trying to move the torque tube, adjust it, come over here and move the transmission and move back and forth. So I'm gonna try that, and hopefully it'll work out for me. As you can see, I am removing the bolts now. Hopefully this will make it a lot easier, because I'm really not trying to spin. I'm trying to kill myself. And so that's it, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and separate it. Or just gotta get those last bolts on the bottom, and then we should be straight. Install. Everything's basically done. I did find it a lot easier to undo the torque tube from the transmission and and put the torque tube towards the clutch. I just found it a lot easier to do that. I don't think I was gonna be able to move the whole entire drivetrain with the transmission, all that back and forth, and to try to get the torque to align with the clutch. So I went ahead and just undid the torque tube from the transmission and got it on there fairly easy. Everything's done. all I have to do now is just do all the electrical plugging, plug everything from the all the electrical plugs that I undid. I gotta put them back on, plug them back in, and I can start jacking up the cradle, the rear cradle, and it should be. This is the easiest thing, everything the way you took it off, take it back off. It's really not all that. It's really not a lot of work, but I am gonna go up under the car and start doing this so I can get this thing out of the way and try this clutch out. I've got the transmission jacked up all the way. The whole entire rear suspension. Sitting flush to the chassis of the car. The easiest part about all this, I guess, is, well, we already, if you work on a vehicle, you already know that the hardest part all the time is taking stuff apart. Putting everything back on just seems like it's just easy. But I guess I'm gonna have to say that the hardest part about all this was the belt housing over there at the clutch, at that 12 o'clock belt housing bolt, and lining everything up. But other than that, it wasn't all that bad. I think I probably put about, I want to say about, well, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 14, about 10 hours, 8 hours throughout the whole entire week. All right, guys, so the car's going back together. Everything's plugged back in. I'm gonna start putting the bolts back on the car, the rear suspension bolts, the cradle bolts, and all that stuff. That shouldn't take that long at all. Probably like 30 minutes both sides. Yesterday I worked on the car from like 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock, but I got what I was able to do then. I was able to put the clutch on there. I did the clutch, torqued them, all the bolts down. I did the belt housing. I did the torque tube to the clutch. I did transmission to the clutch, and the only thing I left to do was jacking up the transmission and running the wiring back through the torque tube, and that's the only thing that left to do. So right now I'm just gonna go ahead and put everything back together. But yesterday was a 6-hour job, and I did all of that by myself, because really it's just me. All right, guys, so the car's back. Test drove it. Everything worked like it was supposed to. I did have one problem. That was the car kept cutting off on me. Like, I couldn't get it to go at all. I ended up finding out that I thought that I was in third gear. I thought I was in first gear when I was actually on third. So it was very hard to take off on third, and the car just kept down on me. So I ended up finding out that the bolt that holds the shifter linkage wasn't tight enough. So the shifter had way too much play in it. So every time, and the only reason why I ended up finding these out was because I couldn't get the car back on reverse. After I had put everything back on the car, I couldn't get it in reverse. I had to take everything back off, and after I took everything back off, I was able to put it back in reverse. And then I ended up looking into it and found out that, like I said, this bolt was loose. So the shifter had way too much play. Like, I could literally have it on a reverse, and I could wobble it all the way up here. So I knew something was wrong. So found that out, fixed it, and now it's just different. Now I can start from first, go to second, third, and fourth, and everything is working like it's supposed to. There is some kind of shatter when the car's in neutral, but once you engage, once the clutch engages, it goes away. And I also noticed that once I had everything back on the car, it was not as noticeable as it was before I had put everything back on. Like right now, if I turn it on, you'll be able to hear all that shatter going on in here. But after everything back on the car, it's just, you can hardly hear it, and it's functioning. It's working like it's supposed to. Like I said, it wasn't a very bad job to do at all. It was just I just basically took my time and worked on it here and there. And really, I only worked on the car like one day, work on it for 30-40 minutes, leave it alone. The next day maybe work on it for 40 minutes. The longest I have worked on this car was when I had put the torque tube, the clutch, the clutch, the torque tube, and all stuff back on the car. That was a total of from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock when I worked on it. But I have basically had it all done, and all I had to do was jack up the transmission, the brake cradle, and start doing the bolts to the cradle, to the suspension, which that didn't take that long, but I did take my time doing it. I think that on one side, just sitting down, it took about 40 minutes one side and 40 minutes on the other side. Other than that, it was pretty, it wasn't bad at all. But if you decide you want to tackle it yourself, it's possible, it's doable. Just make sure that you take your time and don't rush into things. I sure didn't. I didn't rush, I just, like I said, I took my time. Really, I don't really need it's too cold out, but it had been raining for the past 2 weeks straight, just about. So, really, it is what it is. But I guess I got this taken care of, and now, as you can see, the shifter stays in place. It doesn't wobble, like, it doesn't go, like, from here to here, stuff like that. But 1, 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on the car, and go ahead and one of these days pull it out and dry and wash it, clean it up and stuff like that, and that's it. Alrighty guys, so that's it for today.